Today we're going to work on trailer loading. Now what we're working with specifically though are horses that have either had trauma or accidents or problems loading and unloading in horse trailers. You know, some of us may not need this work, but it's certainly a good time to practice. Radar is already aware of what's behind us. The horse trailer is sitting behind us. He knows he's probably going to go in there. Now what I did is I brought him out cold. We didn't do any groundwork with him yet. We're just kind of working our way through some issues on the ground as well as working in the trailer. What you're going to need for this is you do need a lariat, okay? And the two things I show up with whenever I go to load any horse, the best of horses or horses that are a little bit more of a challenge, is a rope halter and a lariat. And I'm going to show you why and what we're going to use this for in just a minute. When we look at our rope halter, I'm going to make sure that my knot is correct. And so we've gone through this before in a series where we pull the rope through the eyelet. What I'm doing is I'm kind of straightening it out against his neck. I'm holding him in place so that when I make my knot, it's directly on top of the eyelet. Okay, so when I'm making this rope halter, here's why. When I'm doing this in training, I want to make sure my knot doesn't get stuck. And so if I have my knot above or below the eyelet, then what happens is the knot can get stuck and it's hard to undo, especially if they pull back and make it tighter. Okay, so I do have my rope halter in place correctly. I've got my nice long line that goes with the rope halter. I prefer a rope halter that doesn't have a snap on it because what that does is it helps eliminate that snap kind of bumping them in the chin and in the bone. And I've got my rope here, okay? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go introduce Radar to the horse trailer, and then we're gonna work on him stepping in, standing, and then stepping out. When he first came, he would not only get on the trailer, but if we did get him on the trailer, it was a lot of pawing and almost laying down, rearing up, those kinds of things within the divider, and just being overall traumatic and stressful for him to go haul to horse shows. And so since then, we've been practicing. We've been practicing loading and unloading, and we're doing it on a day that we're actually not leaving to go somewhere. That's the other part of this that has to be practiced. If you ride your horse every day of the week and you don't load the horse and you try to go to a horse show, what's going to end up happening is you're not going to make it sometimes because your horse won't get on the trailer no matter how well ridden the horse is. And so loading a horse in a trailer is just as important as putting a horse in a cross ties or as riding a horse in an arena or putting him over fences if that's what you're doing. All right, Radar, come on, handsome. So first things first, just to show you what's going to happen. Most people, I'm going to hang my rope here for just a second. Good boy. Back. A lot of times what happens with horses is people will pull them and lead them up to the horse trailer and then stand in the horse trailer and face them and just sit here and try to get them to come onto the horse trailer. Well, one, the position is wrong because when I'm facing a horse with my body open front like this, I'm actually driving and directing him in the wrong direction. Okay, I'm telling him to come with the rope, but my body language is telling him obviously not to come based on facing him, and that's what horses know. Okay, so what I have to do is make sure my position is correct. So I'm going to lead him up to the horse trailer facing away from him. My shoulders are in the direction that I'm going, and I can go on the right side and I can go on the left side. This is a left slant loaded trailer, so I am going to position myself on the left side. So when I get to this side, I'm going to show you what his reaction is. When I'm walking up to the trailer asking him to walk forward, good boy, notice the resistance I'm getting right away. I'm facing the direction I want to go. Good boy, not bad. A lot of people make this mistake, and so what they do is they allow the horse to get partway in the trailer, and naturally what's going to happen is a horse that gets partway in the trailer is typically going to back out. I show you the mistakes that people make first so that we can eliminate them, okay? The reason why, even if I'm practicing with a seasoned horse, I use a lariat. This is about a 20-foot cowboy lariat. You can also use a 50-foot line. I'm going to take my loop at the end of this lariat, okay, when I undo my rope, and I'm going to fashion this around his hip, right above his hocks. So when you look at the area, and I pull this tight, where I'm going to put this rope, and he already knows it's there, okay, and he might move. You got to get a lot of practice with a rope on a butt of a horse and with a rope halter. So see how even he steps on the rope that I've got. Now he's aware that there's a rope around his butt, okay, and what we're going to do with this is we're going to make sure that he understands my command is not going to be pulling him on the horse trailer. It's not going to be allowing him to step 2 feet onto the horse trailer and back off. This is going to train the horse in the wrong direction. It trains them to go, well, I can get partway on and step off. I can get halfway on. I can not get on at all, and then I don't have to go anywhere. And so by putting a rope around his butt and not letting the problems continue, what we're working on is making sure that he understands the repetition of getting on the trailer as he walks up and he walks right on. Okay, so now that we've got our rope on, I've got my rope halter. I'm going to turn and face the horse trailer. And now I'm using my butt rope. Good boy. Good boy. That's a good boy. So this time there was no pause. Now he may try to back up. That's the reason why I'm still keeping the rope on his butt. So this is where, I'm going to let him settle for just a second. You know, I'm glad that mistake happened, because what that's going to do, good boy. This is why we're doing this video series. We have a horse that's had a history of trouble trailering. And what we're going to work on is not only getting on the trailer, which he actually did quite well, he decided to run backwards, run out, and then kick at the rope from pressure. Okay, so this is where a lot of people start using things like whips. They start using chains over their nose. They start doing a lot of things. They start using too many people to try to lift and load the horse up, or shove the horse into the divider and run away. You're teaching them to panic in that way, okay? So I'm actually glad that he backed out the way he did, because now I'm going to work on lining the horse back up to get on the trailer correctly, loading again. Oh boy. Loading again, and then staying in the trailer. So when you have a horse that runs backwards out of a trailer, this is a very important tool to have, because you're never going to be able to stop a 2,000-pound or 1,000-pound opinionated flight animal from backing out of a tin can with just your arm strength and body holding onto a halter, okay? This is why this piece of equipment is so perfect to be able to use in this situation. I'm going to load him back in the trailer again, get him to settle, maybe just for a little bit, and then on my command, I'm going to get him to back out one step at a time. And this may take us a couple times, but this is where accidents happen if we don't practice. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the trailer. Good. Very good. Good boy. Now, I'm going to be a lot more forthright in him understanding my butt rope now. When we first loaded him, he ran backwards. And he rubbed against both butt rope and rope halter, and he ran through those aids. And so now I've got my rope halter pretty snug. I've got my rope around his butt really snug, and I'm making sure now he is not in the decision making of running backwards, okay? And he's a little bit nervous. You can tell all horses, whenever they go in and out of a trailer, they will get nervous and go to the bathroom, and that's just part of this, okay? Because this is out of their natural state of what they would normally do, okay? Normally they travel around on their legs. We're asking them to get in something that moves on wheels, and that's a little more challenging, okay? So far so good. He's licking and chewing his lips. He understands my command now is that he stays on the trailer. Now when I back him, I'm going to work on going one step at a time. Good. Good boy. I am using my rope that's around his butt to make sure, okay, not bad. He still got out a little bit quickly, but he did go one step at a time, and he went slower, and he went on my command, okay? Good boy. This horse has come a long way. He used to throw us around in the trailer by pushing us into the dividers, stomping and pawing, and then even sometimes going as far as trying to sit down or lay down against the dividers. He has come a really long way in all of his trailering work that we've done. We're going to do this again here in just a minute. So I'm going to resituate myself. The biggest thing we've overcome is that he'll get on the horse trailer. Now what we're working on is that he slows his body down when he exits the horse trailer, okay? Now we haven't even gotten to the point where we're able to actually shut him in a divider and then slowly work him out. We're just working on the getting in and the getting out first part, okay? So we're going to go back in. Good boy. I'm facing the direction I want to go. I've got the horse in the trailer. Good boy. I'm going to pause and wait. Okay, so I had less butt rope that time, a little less rope halter work. He's now standing quiet in the trailer for the most part. He knows we're going to work on getting out. Okay, so trailering's got a lot of layers. He's still nervous, okay? He's still worried about being inside this trailer. I'm going to let him settle for a second, and then I'm going to back him a couple steps at a time. Okay, good boy. Back, good, back, good, touchdown. What a good boy. So much better. That's the slowest he went, okay? And you're noticing him in the front. He's licking and chewing his lips. He's breathing. He's a little quieter. He's not quite as pushy as he was. He's still not comfortable with loading and unloading, not as much as, say, a horse that's more seasoned that just steps on the trailer without a rope halter. But our goal behind all of this and this kind of training is to not have to use the butt rope. It's also to be able to just walk into the trailer with a normal halter and not a training rope halter, because we wouldn't tie him in the trailer with this. So this is just kind of the start of working through a horse that's a little bit older, that's had some issues in being able to get on and off the trailer. We're going to load him one more time. That was the quietest he's ever been. What we're going to work on too is going ahead and going in and shutting that divider. This time, now that he's gone as far as just being able to go quietly in and quietly out. Okay, so this is radar going for now 4th time. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Now I am going to go in and just simply put my loop, the end of my halter, through one of the ties. Oh, good boy. So I have not tied him because I'm not ready for him to tie up to the trailer yet. And as you can see, he knows. So you can see he's already starting to get worried and nervous and push against me. So I'm going to protect myself. Good boy, good boy. So he clearly is not ready to let the divider shut and to be tied in the trailer. We're still working on just his ground manners and manners once he does get in the trailer. So at this point, whenever I'm doing this with the training, I'm making sure I've still got a really steady hand on my hind rope. I've got a good steady hand on my rope halter because I'm having to navigate both. Okay, good boy. That's a good boy. Good boy. That's a good boy. Good job. It takes a lot of work, and it takes making sure that you're safe and not getting trampled at the same time. So working on the ground is important, okay? He finally settled. He finally released. Yeah. And he's still just as worried, isn't he, about the horse trailer? But this is why we're practicing. Now, I did not tie him. He's not ready for that divider to be shut yet. We're still practicing on manners, being in the trailer, getting on and off the trailer. Good boy. Wait. Good boy. So I'm going to allow him to start backing up slowly, but I am going to be very quick about my hind rope, pulling on him just in case he decides to run backwards. We're eliminating running backwards, okay? So I'm going to back a step. Good boy. I'm going to back another step. Good boy. One at a time, using the butt rope. Good boy. Back a step. Oh, good boy. Back a step. Touchdown. Touchdown. Oh, what a good boy. I'm going to back him a little further. That's a boy. I'm going to take the hind rope off. So at this point in our training, excuse me, at this point in our training, we're going to stop there. We loaded and unloaded him. He got more nervous. As soon as you saw me start to even just motion, taking the end of the rope, acting like I was going to tie him and then leave him in there, is when actually his behavior escalated even more. And so what we decided to do in training is we're going, you know what, we're going to stop right there until he starts to get even quieter, going in, standing, and going out. Then we're at that step before we then put him in a divider and then decide to leave him in that trailer. Okay, he did a very good job. This horse has come a long, long way, but you can tell how much work we still want to put into the horses, especially when it comes to working them with obstacles, trailers, any of those things that make them even more nervous, okay? Good boy.